It's Welcome to the Resolution.
All right, welcome to the resolution. My name is Stuart. I am here with Jay Freeborne from Washington Tax Services in our new offices in Seattle, Washington, downtown Seattle, Washington, in the lovely Smith Tower for 2025. We're going to go over some topics that we've kind of touched on maybe in previous podcasts, but going more in depth today. And we're going to be looking at passport issues for individuals and tax compliance there, and where they might run into some issues. And then followed up, we're going to go into people who are maybe looking to renounce their citizenship and how that might look with their tax implications. Yeah, let's hand it off to Jay. Is that a good place to start with
Sure.
passports? And yeah, what do you
Sounds
think?
good. Yeah. Hey, Jay Freeborne here, Washington Tax. 2015, a law was passed during the Obama era that basically put a block on passports for people who owed at that time 50,000 or more. It's now adjusted to $59,000 or more in taxes in 2024. And if you owe more than that, your passport can be blocked for renewal, most commonly. They don't revoke passports very frequently,
So not like when you're at the gate
with
looking to get on there.
exceptions. With
Yeah,
exceptions.
yeah.
And one celebrity exception is Hunter Biden. He owed 2 million and was stopped at an airport and his passport was revoked. Apparently, one rich friend of his paid it off, and that's how he got his passport unblocked.
We're looking more for people who are, their passports expired, they're going on a trip, they realize, oh, suddenly I got to get tax compliant.
Exactly. People that are planning trips, definitely who owe the IRS back taxes, definitely should get on it. And getting on it means filing your last 6 years of tax returns if they're not filed, working out an installment agreement that is livable, most commonly, or applying for an offer in compromise to settle your debt with the IRS.
Yeah, so it's not a matter of paying off an entire debt
No,
before it's getting into something where you're looking to do that at the
or applying for an offer in compromise, or currently not collectible,
Hmm.
showing your inability to pay. Now, here's one of the key points. You just need to simply have applied. You don't have to have it accepted. Something has to be in motion. And so what happens is, in our world here at Washington Tax, who represents clients with exactly this issue, we'll get something in motion, and then we'll work with the Secretary of State of the United States to get the passport block removed. Now, one other little footnote on this. Sometimes we'll get somebody in an installment agreement that is annoyingly large.
Hmm.
And we do that because of expediency. It's easier for us to get a client in a expensive installment agreement than it is for a lower one, which we could do if we had more time. But we'll do that just to get the passport unlocked and then revisit that installment agreement afterwards.
The urgency of the travel trumps the end
E-
result, the
Exactly.
temporary end result of the
Right.
installment agreement you get into, but you can
Right.
revisit. Got it.
So let's revisit this now that we have a completely new administration who is doing lots of big changes, particularly with Elon Musk. You could put this under the America First test, and this is probably something that will stay in the law. I mean, you can't travel unless you pay your taxes. An inward looking country that this administration kind of is leaning towards, hey, you got to pay your taxes before you leave the country. I don't think this is going anywhere. It's now in its 10th year of action, and it does happen. This is a frequent thing. Now, I'll put another little footnote on this because we watch this very carefully. We've got thousands of clients whose cases we monitor with IRS power of attorney. We get all the alerts, by the way, for our clients. by a power of attorney. If you became a customer of Washington Tax, you'll be getting that privilege. But I've seen a few of these passport unblocks, Stuart, remove just arbitrarily, not
Hmm.
often. Just yesterday, I saw a passport unblock get removed without any of these actions.
Is it requested? It's just sort of
Now, I haven't gotten to the bottom of the case, but
interesting. Yeah.
sometimes there's an arbitrary removal with the IRS hitting about a 10% cut in staff here in 2025 through Doge. Nonetheless, I think, folks, that this law will stay. It's definitely in, kind of a Trumpian way, like pro-America, don't travel unless you pay your taxes seems to be a fitting approach for this current era. So anyway, 10 years out, this thing lives. Now, many people who don't have assessed balances that are U.S. expats or Americans haven't filed tax returns. Will this apply to you? And that is a complicated question. You are always in jeopardy of having returns filed for you and balances assessed. That's a way that a non-filer could be included in this. I would say to people that have this as a concern that they file their last 6 years of returns in 2025, that would be 19 to 24, pay your taxes in full, work out an installment agreement, do an offer in compromise, get currently not collectible. All that will prevent the IRS from filing for you and prevent your passport from being unblocked. So this is a live issue, folks. It's happening and it's real.
And there's no threats, or I mean, we neither of us have a crystal ball. It's not, this isn't something where we're expecting this to become even more restrictive, but it might be something where it becomes more enforced. Or is that
Yeah,
jumping to a
yeah, I
conclusion?
don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, obviously, the Trump administration's been very aggressive to people that are green cards and maybe more vulnerable, have more vulnerable visa statuses than U.S. citizens. Going too far to jump to the conclusion that they'll start revoking passports.
Sure.
But I think the passport block of renewal should be the most common way that somebody out there will be dealing and facing this. That's what you'll see.
So I guess that kind of naturally, or maybe it doesn't naturally move, but it does beg the question. So, what kind of tax implications are there when a citizen renounces themselves?
Yeah, so this is obviously a popular topic as um, some people are upset with the way the country's going, and it's always been a topic regarding the political changes. And so if you do want to renounce your citizenship, one, you'll need to renounce it through an embassy or through as far as an immigration concern, go through a procedure like that. But tax wise, you will have to handle two things. You'll have to send in the Form 8854 with a fee over $2,000, just over 2,000. There is a bill and legislation out right now to reduce that to about 400. On that form, you'll have to declare that all your returns are filed and paid, certainly the last 6 years, as we've been indicating throughout this podcast. And if you have the following criteria met, you'll have to pay an exit tax. And the criteria is 178,000 to 190,000 income on the average last 5 years, or a net worth of $2 million. If either of those are applicable, then you might have to pay a capital gains tax on your net worth as if you were selling all of your assets before you left. But there is an exemption of 737,000. So let's say that you met the exit tax criteria with 178,000 of income a year, but your net worth is below 737,000. There's no exit tax. But let's illustrate this. If you did meet the criteria through one of those two criteria, how would it work? Let's say that you had 2 million in assets, and those assets were calculated after the basis. The basis is the original, what you paid for like your house
Mm-hmm.
and any renovations you put
Mm-hmm.
on your house, for example, and closing costs. Let's say that after basis, you had 2 million bucks. First, you subtract out the 737, and then you subtract that to get, we'll round it up to $1.3 million capital gain, of which you would pay a long-term capital gains tax up to 20% on that transaction. But if it was a short-term gain, you would pay ordinary income tax rates in that exit tax, meaning whatever your tax rate is, normally you would pay an exit tax for that amount. So obviously 2 million in our example minus 700,000, we'll round it up, 1.3 million. You'll probably pay a 15% tax if it was a long-term asset. If it was an asset that you just bought in the last 12 months, you will pay ordinary income tax rates for your exit tax on the 1.3 million.
This is your global net worth, obviously. So I'm just thinking if somebody has property abroad, property in the U.S., they're now thinking they
You're
want
giving me the trick questions, huh? I will admit I don't want to say for the record on this podcast that foreign assets are included, but I think they probably are. I would think so. Prove me wrong, folks. Send us an email, but I would think that your worldwide assets are included. I should also add that on your tax returns, as being a U.S. citizen means declaring your worldwide income. By renouncing your citizenship, you'll no longer have to file U.S. tax returns unless you had U.S. source income, in which you will then, therefore, be filing non-resident alien tax returns, the Form 1040-NR, on your U.S. income, which citizenship has its privileges. You will be paying a higher tax rate as a non-resident.
resident.
Yeah, I think it's like 37% flat. Pretty bad.
Significantly different.
Yeah. But that's on U.S. sourced income. If you still have your foreign income will no longer be on the tax return. So Americans that are looking to leave the country, become Europeans, Australians, Chinese, Koreans, whatever, Indonesians, you will have to fill out the renunciation form for tax purposes. You'll have to fill out Form 8854, pay an exit tax if you have 178,000 average income last 5 years, or have $2 million in net worth and handle some other immigration renunciation pieces, and you're done. So not easy, but Washington Tax Service, we represent people with tax problems. We've been in business since 1989. We're tax problem nerds and help people resolve tax problems and help people with passport unblocks, filing the tax returns to fill your compliance hole, resolving your tax problem through offering compromise, livable installment agreements, penalty waivers, and currently not collectible. And we also do renunciations and exit tax calculations for people that want to renounce their citizenship.
Yeah. So if you have any of those concerns, you can always reach out to us, 888-282-4697, or shoot us an email through our website, which is watax.com. And we should be able to set up an interview where you can talk to somebody on the phone right away. We have expat specialists who can certainly go deep dive into your specific concerns regarding either of these issues or a myriad of others. So,
Yes,
yeah.
watax.com. My name's Jay. Nice talking to you, Stuart.
Excellent, Jay. Appreciate all the info today.
Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.